And the worst thing is here, Bowie, he's already had a full set to do so. He's already had a full set to understand, hey, these are the things that sisqui is looking for when he's in advantage, and these are the things that I can do to mitigate those. So it's all up to sisqui. Can he innovate his advantage state? Can he find new ways to tap into that power, or is it going to be Glutonny finding that consistent win, mitigating those explosive advantage states from sisqui? We're going to find out in Game 1 on Pokemon Stadium 2 what other stage is there on the stage list at this point.
This is it. This is your grand finals. We've got a long way to go if sisqui wants to be the champion here. But Glutonny again, once again going the wolf, as we were discussing earlier. Perhaps one of those stronger matchup decisions here. But sisqui opting for, you know, quite a strong opening, looking to extend with that Zair, getting a little bit of an extra percent. 76 to 32 is the difference after the first exchanges. Up smash will scoop a moving sisqui, who's been just trying to get past this wall that Glutonny's putting up at the edge. Jumping over and then throws out an attack as well to try and cover the aggression from Glutonny, trying to follow up. Ooh, Wonderful! Ooh. Gets a small charge shot, dash attack will be enough to catch Gluto, who will lose his first stock. Stock advantage for sisqui.
Sisqui in a rare lead. Let's see how long he holds it, or maybe even extends it. Finds that grab. Again, sisqui's grabs so immaculate. Always finds them, but Glutonny with a weak nair into the dash attack, into that back air. Just 1, 2, 3. It's like magic. It's as if it was decided way before it even happened. Glutonny just so smooth with it, finding that equalizer, and sisqui still in the lead, which is, in my opinion, extremely impressive. Let's see how he plays it from here. Glutonny looking a little bit more aggressive than he was in the first game, trying to go for those scramble situations, then backing up. Time for the lasers. Forces sisqui to make some sort of play first. That is where Glutonny is strongest, right? Not really committing into you, but instead using the threat of the airspeed to make you scared, using the threat of those projectiles to make you act first, and that's what he's doing here. And when you're scared, you're shielding, and when you're shielding, you're getting throw comboed by Wolf. Glutonny's such great mastery over his character, finding that sweet spot Becker, an auto cancel as well, and sisqui finally establishing a get up attack. That's exactly what we were looking for in the first set. So some amazing adaptation by sisqui, knowing exactly what Glutonny was looking for and how to counteract what Glutonny wanted in that situation.
Indeed, just challenging where possible. He's been seeing that Gluto's Wolf has been going for these down smashes at the ledge, just finding the moment to challenge. Falling up air will push sisqui into the sky again, who has not really been on the stage at all in any sense of control for a while, but just does not matter. Getting the up B, then jumping up with that nair will be enough to secure the stock, and then immediately Glutonny is once again replying and responding. So one stock apiece. sisqui managing just to kind of claw back these slight leads, just for even if just for a moment, throughout every single stock. If you can do it on the third stock, that's a game. Doesn't matter how close it is.
For sure, and that's one of the things that sisqui likes to do, right? Very pressure-heavy Samus gameplay instead of being more of an anti-approach type Samus. And because he's pressure-heavy, he's going to be in the air more often, and that has its pros and cons. And one of the cons is going to be that Glutonny can read those with those rising Beckers, and that's exactly what he's been doing. That's how he's been finding those kills. Again, a jump read with the nair barely misses. The forward tilt is going to two-frame as sisqui regrabs the ledge. Let's see what Glutonny finds here. Another jump and another jump punish. I warned you about the negatives of jumping. Glutonny's so on point with beating those jumps.
Very, very strong. You could that was such it was like an entire era of that game was just spent with Gluto at the edge, waiting and just throwing out options and seeing what sisqui was doing and pushing him back and pushing him back and pushing him back and pushing him back. And every single time, just slightly adapting positioning, slightly adapting response to anything sisqui was doing, till the one moment he jumped at the wrong time, waiting for that back air to come out and secures the game. Very, very strong conditioning play at the ledge, just to force a great edge guard.
For sure, and that back air so lethal, of course. So when Glutonny gets those reads, he gets huge reward. And again, using those platforms to cover advantage state options there, making sure that sisqui has nowhere to go to forward air to the backer, almost KOing Wolf with some of the best KO options in the game. Look at this pressure. Look at how hard he shakes it. sisqui knows exactly what his limits are, even continues the pressure, even though extension and failing with that extension as well. And that is such a critical skill. When you commit to your advantage, be sure that even if it goes wrong, you still have somewhat of an advantage left. And that's exactly what Glutonny is doing, extending but not overextending. And that is what is making it so hard for sisqui. Finds a few hits in neutral here, but nothing that sticks. That grab will stick though. A very, very sticky. It's like one of those sticky hands that you throw out there and you're just like whoop. Talking about whoop and gone. It's Glutonny finding that KO move on sisqui and another early lead for Glutonny's Wolf. Like I said, one of the best wolves in the business.
Again, challenging the down smash effort with that get-up attack from sisqui. Gets himself back onto stage. So far, he's just unable to really make use of any charge shot. You know, the threat of the reflector is just too much for sisqui to kind of be as, you know, as, I guess, footloose and fancy-free with his charge shots.
For sure, and I think charge shot is such a cornerstone of sisqi's gameplay. It is where the conditioning comes from, and Glutonny being able to mitigate that with both the laser as well as the reflector. Such a huge factor in this matchup that got the side B spike to boot.
Yeah, but brilliant stuff. You know, I think sisqui, I think that's one of those things that sisqui should have been aware of, just knowing that angle, knowing that distance. I feel like that was a little bit wayward, but Gluto was just with that idea, just to throw it out in that snap situation, is just so strong.
And I love the way Glutonny gets these advantages, ends on the platform, and then uses a drop through to cover so many options. He's covering an air dodge, he's covering a swing, and if you double jump, you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. Glutonny with a 3-stock, just establishing dominance across the board. And we're into the final game, potentially the final game for sisqi's winner's life.
He's given up. Sisqi's done.
Don't worry. Potentially,
I mean, like a three-stock is obviously really strong statement to make in game 2. Sisqui is now 2-0 down after losing 3-0. He just got 3-stock to go 2-0 down. That is scary. You're in loser's side. What is he going to bring out? What can he bring out to stop this wall, to stop this pressure, to stop this counteracting of everything that sisqui has been able to throw out up until this point? And this is where Glutonny's experience in this matchup, from previous experience and from playing sisqui as well in the past, is finally coming to a head. This is where all that experience comes to.
For sure, it's all experience and it's all intuition as well. Glutonny has polished and turned his theory into intuition. That is one of the most important parts of reaching at high levels. It's not just about knowing what you got to do. You got to feel what you got to do. You got to be ready. You got to have your instincts be polished enough to be able to act on it in the moment. So far, sisqui finding a rare charge shot in the neutral that's going to be a huge damage swing in his favor, and he's finding the plays that he needs. Look at that back air. It might be a tech, but it's huge damage. sisqui missing the grab that's going to sting. Glutonny looking for some sort of finish, finds the stage spike, and that's gonna be it. A stage spike for a stage spike, and Glutonny comes out ahead, and sisqi's chances of winning are decreasing. That said, we're already seeing a lot of advantage state coming out in this game. Glutonny with the
charge shot. That is a lot of damage.
Insane.
A lot of damage.
Glutonny just finding the right reflection.
That's why sisqui has been worried about it. Wonderful, finding that moment just to get that down air. It was a bit of a trade, but he made it. He got the KO that he needed. He's still hanging in there. And it's interesting that the charge shot came out early. He got one hit of it because of a dropped reflector, but that timing was a little bit better. Landing into the grab and being able to just get that down throw pushes him away with that up air under the stage. Back on stage again. But again, this approaching wolf is so scary from Glutonny.
Totally agree, Bowie. It's just the sheer pressure of this character, calling out the downbeat drift as well. Glutonny just so on point with those chases. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. The big bad wolf is coming for you. He's blowing the doors down, and he's blowing you down with it. Look at the pressure. Look at the forward air, the nair, the down air. Chases all the way. The up, he tries to get the suicide KO, but the wall jump by sisqui, using every tool available to him to even up the stock count. sisqui still in this game.
That was very nice. Yeah, that was incredible play, just understanding the stage so well and being able to play underneath it like that was great stuff from sisqui. Hanging on, but you still look at it. 140% is the difference. Any particular anticipation of movement and the correct decision making to move in and get a punish is going to be it for sisqui. But he's got a passage of play here. He has the slight advantage, gets a couple of back up airs into back air, but Gluto once again has him off stage. Could this be the final play? There's a nair once again. Gluto looking for the moment. Dash attacking on. sisqi's back on stage up B. Pushes Gluto away. Has the back air opportunity. What's the decision to make now? Opens a space but misses.
sisqui really coming alive in this potentially final stock of his of his bracket. Life gets dash tag, but it's not a KO. Samus does have a little bit of room to work with. That early up B, pulling the trigger in such a big way. sisqui is not afraid, and being not afraid in this scenario requires some insane mental fortitude. sisqui is showing it. The drop through Nair. Look at the pressure. The side B just scarring the stage. Glutonny making sure he's still alive. The Becker was a weak hit. Now he has to find the KO. Did not expect the roll again. sisqi's not afraid. And Glutonny finding that final punish to become the European champion. The Smash World Tour finalist, representing Europe as the #1 seed in the World Finals.
Wonderful stuff. It was so much effort that sisqui had to try and put in towards the end. Perhaps his best game of that set, and potentially even the previous set there as well. But Glutonny holding on to that calm nature, that calculating, cold, assassin-like finish. Very, very good stuff. Just waited for the overextension, and that up tilt was the one. The up smash comes out, scoops, and brings sisqui to the top, as he rises to the top himself as the #1 here. Congratulations once again to Gluto. You're your European champion for years on end, and puts that stamp once again onto the accolades of his career here in Smash Ultimate. Wonderful stuff. And without the Warrior, not all throughout the entire tournament, but with Wolf.
Huge shout out to sisqui. Just the way he was unafraid in those final moments is super impressive, in my opinion. That early up B, just pulling that trigger, and just making a few callouts, and at the end of the day, that up tilt being that final callout, but a bridge too far. Glutonny is not gonna let you get away with that type of extension. And here's a final look at the bracket, of course. Tarek and sisqui fighting it out in losers finals, and at the end of the day, sisqui moving on to winners, and then falling in grand finals to Glutonny. Glutonny, so consistent, man. I mean, he is one of the best he is the best that Europe has to offer for a reason. And I would love to see how he competes with the top worldwide. Because Glutonny, he's just been so hungry to compete with the top of the top again. He wanted to go to the summit, couldn't because of travel restrictions, and just finally getting another opportunity to test his mettle and really go toe-to-toe with the world's finest.
Indeed. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, as you're mentioning, he's hungry to do it again, because it has been a bit of a while since, he's been able to get out there. And I think for some players as well, earlier, 6 players have obviously, qualified. We got sisqui, Pele, Glutonny, Tombury, Sintro, and True4 all going to that grand final. And Pele, who's usually, quite a calm player, we saw him pop off earlier. It means a lot to a lot of these players to make it to this grand final, to get onto that world stage and play with some of the best players from around the world. Is an exciting thing, for all of the 6 who have qualified. And now it's the difference between, at this point, we have our 6 qualified players. From now until we get